So we're in a time of, if not exactly troubled markets, maybe just completely uncertain markets. So we're operating in an environment where no one really knows what's going to go on from day to day, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter. So a good thing to do when we find ourselves in an atmosphere of uncertainty or a place where we don't quite know what's going to happen a week, a month, 6 months down the line. Good thing to do for your workplace presence is do an inventory of what your brand is. Now, what is a brand? Your personal brand. Think about this. At your workplace, whether you are remote or whether you are in person, think about what your personal brand is with the rest of the people that you work with. So consider, when other people look at me, am I a leader? Am I a hard charger? Am I volunteering? Or am I someone who likes to hang back a bit, who's a little more cautious, who kind of is willing to help out but needs to be prodded into doing that? So think about what your brand is. Other things to consider about your brand are like, am I reliable? Do I do the basics right? Do I show up on time? Am I always late by 5 minutes? Am I late joining Zoom calls? Do I always have a problem with my connection? Am I that person who is a little bit flaky, who's a little bit not to be counted on 100% of the time? Yeah, I show up and I do the things that are asked of me, but maybe I'm constantly being needed to be prodded, poked, cajoled into doing the things that everyone else is doing. If you find yourself in a position where maybe your brand is not as strong as you hope it would be, and if we're staring into an economic era of uncertainty, make sure you really do an assessment on, hey, how do I rehabilitate or how do I fix my brand? How do I make it as good as I possibly can so that when the time may come when they need to do cutbacks or they need to shrink down people's roles, you don't get caught up in that. So one thing you can do is kind of just do a really serious assessment of, am I doing the basics right? Am I on time? Am I doing the things that are asked of me the right way the first time it's asked of me? Or honestly, do I need to be corrected? Do I need to be helped out? Am I constantly reaching out to other people for help? If you find yourself in those situations, make a list of those shortcomings, the things that you think maybe you're not doing as well as you could be, or those things that other people are doing better than you, and then make a list of ways you're going to combat that. And you're going to go in there and fix those things so that you can rehabilitate your personal brand so that when the time comes for people to be cut, and again, we are in an era when we are very uncertain about what's going to happen in the next month, quarter, year, make sure you are rehabilitating that brand and making the best possible choices you can so that you are of value to your organization. Now, if you find yourself in a place where you think, hey, I've got my performance reviews, I am a leader among my peers, I'm doing everything right, then you can start to say, hey, how do I distinguish myself even further? And how do I make sure that, even though I think my brand is great, and I've been told my brand is good by my superiors, by my bosses, by my supervisors, how do you leverage that even further, right? So what I'm trying to get at today is, look, I've supervised dozens to hundreds of people. I have been supervised by dozens of people. Do a really, really honest assessment of where you are in your organization. Are you doing the things well that you need to be doing well? If you're not, figure out ways to fix that. If you are doing those things, figure out ways to lean into that. Make your brand even more successful, because the one thing you can't control is what's going to happen with the economic conditions that our organizations are sailing into. What you can control is your brand, the way people think about you, the way people look at you. And if it's not exactly where you want it to be, now is the time to start making those changes, to start making those tweaks so that when push comes to shove, you are right where you want to be and you feel safe and comfortable, and you can lean into the fact that you are doing everything and providing the value that your organization needs. That's it for today. We'll talk next time.